You have the freedom to be yourself. You have the vote, you have food, you have shelter, you have your health. There are libraries and museums, parks with roundabouts and swings, and do you know why we have all of these things? It's not because you did well in school, or worked hard, or invented something cool, not because you scrimped and saved, or won money in the pools. It's where you were born. Right now, someone just like you, just as clever, just as funny, just as pretty, is hiding out in some ruined, bombed-out city, trying desperately to protect their sons or daughters when they can't even get fresh water, and the only option left is to pick a side and join the slaughter. Well, that'll run, if they can raise the cash by selling everything they have, to be given the opportunity to risk their lives and those of their husbands, children, and wives for a trip they may never even survive, so that those kids might grow up to have some fun rather than learning to fire a gun and hate and shoot and kill someone because that's what their role models would have done, or how they're told that you get into heaven. How bad would it have to be for you, such that the only thing you felt you could possibly do was launch yourself into the sea on a tiny but packed-out dinghy? So how do we treat these escapees, those brave or desperate enough to flee? Do we show some basic level of humanity, acknowledge that, you know what, but for that one small detail it could have been me? Not really. We fence them off and tell them they're fine, and on the outside put up a great big sign saying, "This problem isn't mine." Huge ramshackle cities full of homeless refugees are left to live in tents and freeze, whilst the news tells us stories about our favourite celebrities, constantly checking our mobile phones, warm inside our safe, cosy home, space outside for the second car. Do we have any idea just how lucky and privileged we are? And all the while politicians discuss why someone should help, but it shouldn't be us. I mean, yeah, we should just let a few of them in, just enough for a political win. It's not like we haven't helped out in the past, like when our mates the bankers needed bailing out fast. Besides, we don't have the money, they say. What a joke. It wasn't a problem when it was tax cuts for rich folk. Maybe take a break from the club to commit a war crime, but that's fine, because we've got all these online petitions to waste the voters' time. And what's so wrong with paying a bit more to make the world a better place? I know it would put a smile on my face. I'd vote for that. Everybody put a little bit into the global hat from where I'm sat. That seems like a great idea, though I'm sure some would shed a tear for fear their second home wouldn't be redecorated, or their love of antique furniture wouldn't be sated. Much better to be isolated. We'll look out for ourselves. As long as there's food on our shelves and we're accumulating wealth, then we can tell each other everything's okay. We don't need anyone else anyway. But what if we all worked as one? All the countries under the sun accepted that we're all in this together. I mean, we're all going to suffer from the same changes in the weather, and every nation needs to deal with growing population. But maybe together we can be more humane, because the way things are now is completely insane. There are wars and starvation, but that's all okay, as it's happening hundreds of miles away. Let's not get involved, and let's not make a fuss so you don't have to worry. It's them, it's not us. And if it's too real, hearing about all the dead, switch over and watch a soap opera instead. So you might find yourself disgusted with governments that can't be trusted to think in any serious amounts about things other than rich folks' bank accounts. But that's not the way it has to be, seeing suffering on the news for a day or three until they find something to run that's a bit more juicy. But we can change one thing, you and me. Aside from writing pointless poetry, we can think a bit more globally.